What is poppin' YouTube? Week 10 is almost in the books, and we're going to be talking about some recap and waivers for you to get ahead for this week so we can be looking to get a win in week 11. Starting off with just a quick little recap. Dak Prescott, 45 fantasy points, absolutely emerges. Keenan Allen, CD Lamb, carrying you in this Bimaganon for the wide receivers. Justin Herbert, as much as we want to bash him, he had a really good day with 35 fantasy points. Brandin Cooks, surprise. Mr. Brandin Cooks can produce anywhere, hasn't produced this season. Brandin Cooks had himself a day. TJ Hockenson had a great day, 30 fantasy points. Amon St. Brown, they used them all over the field, 29 fantasy points. Sam Howell, Brock Purdy both had good days. Mike Evans had a great day. Jahmyr Gibbs had himself a day. For all of us that were worried about Jahmyr Gibbs or David Montgomery, I mean, David Montgomery had a pretty good day, but Jahmyr Gibbs has clearly taken over the RB1 role in that backfield. We were a little bit worried about Jamar Chase with the injury, how he started off in the first half, but ended up producing in the second half. So really great week. So let me know down below how your week went, but let's jump into some waivers. My first waiver wire target, and if this guy is somehow still available on waivers, you need to go get him. Go get Keaton Mitchell right now. This is your warning if somehow he's still available. He should have been picked up last week, but if he didn't get picked up last week and he's somehow still there, go get Keaton Mitchell. We saw exactly who Keaton Mitchell was today with that electrifying run. And if you missed out on any of those amazing waiver wire targets, week 1, week 2, or week 3, like Puka Nacua, who's still on our rosters, then you need to go get Keaton Mitchell, because I think as we continue on into the season, he's the most explosive back in this Ravens backfield. Gus Edwards, he's a clogger, he's a slogger. You know exactly who he is. Justice Hill, small version, pretty quick, but not as quick as Keaton. In this offense, can he be a fantasy football game wrecker? Yes, because they love to use the running back. So go get Keaton Mitchell if somehow he is still available. My second waiver wire target is going to be Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler for the Minnesota Vikings. Alexander Mattison went out with an injury, and we talked about Ty Chandler in our Beat the Stash video on Saturday. So if you didn't pick up Ty Chandler then, when it was free and it was cheap and it was easy, you're going to have to be fighting some of your league mates. He had 45 rushing yards, 10.5 fantasy points. But as we know, this Minnesota Vikings offense with Josh Dobbs looks good. TJ Hockenson looks good. Jordan Addison still looks good. And especially if Justin Jefferson's going to be coming back, there's going to be plenty of scoring opportunities for the running back in this backfield. So Alexander Mattison in concussion protocol. So we'll see. Maybe Alexander Madison's able to get back this week. But even now, I think Ty Chandler can be a great spot start for you here next week. So I would be looking to add him for this week, especially considering the fact Madison had played 30 snaps up to this point and he was really involved in the passing game. So if Ty Chandler can take that, we definitely want to be picking up Ty Chandler. My third waiver wire target is going to be Demario Douglas. Demario Douglas also has been in our Beat the Stash videos that we put out each and every Saturday. 6 receptions on 9 targets for 84 yards, 14.4 fantasy points. If you started Pop in your lineup, Demario Douglas, you were pretty happy about it, especially how he didn't really do much in the first quarter. Then the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter really started to turn it on. And this next week goes up against the Giants, who are the 12th against wide receivers. So the schedule gets a little bit better here for Demario Douglas. So we like Demario Douglas. We were calling him a poor man's Antonio Brown. And with 9 targets this last week, absolutely fabulous for you. So go see if you can go get Pop Douglas. I would like it for you. I have him. He's 53% rostered across the board right now. And that's been just going up. When we started talking about Pop Douglas, he only was 10% rostered. So there's still quite a ways for you to be able to go get Pop before he's 100% rostered, but go make sure he's added onto your team. My next waiver wire target is going to be Brandin Cooks. And maybe Brandin Cooks should be the top waiver wire target on this video, but Brandin Cooks had himself a monster day. 32 fantasy points. I mean, CD Lamb had himself a day. Dak Prescott had himself a day, but Brandin Cooks, we talked about Jalen Tolbert, who was increasing in snap share, that maybe potentially he would, be able to get to the wide receiver 2 spot in this Dallas Cowboys offense. No can do comprendo. Brandin Cooks, I know he's 30 years old, slammed the door shut. He said, I'm still here to stay. I'm still as good as advertised. 32 fantasy points, 55% rostered against the Giants, who were 30th against wide receivers this week. And going in was wide receiver 48th ranked, but with 9 receptions, 10 targets, 173 yards, 1 total touchdown. It took a while for the Cowboys to finally figure out how to use Brandin Cooks, but hey, you know what? It took a while for them to finally figure out how to use Brandin Cooks, but hey, week 10 might as well be the day that it is for Brandin Cooks. So this is my thing. It's hard for us to determine if this role that Brandin Cooks saw in these targets are going to be sustainable, because as we've seen in this Dallas Cowboys offense this season, they're really starting to pick it up, but it has kind of been a little bit of a rocky road. So we don't know what his role is going to be each and every week. At this point in the season, we see something like this. We see the production that Brandin Cooks has had in past seasons. Boom, add it to my lineup, add it to my waivers, especially like I said, if those guys that we've previously mentioned are not available. Our next guy that you should be targeting on the waiver wire is going to be Noah Brown. Ohio State to Ohio State connection between CJ Stroud and Noah Brown is strong. Who would have thought it that Noah Brown, when he signed with the Texans this offseason, would be this fantasy football relevant? At this point, CJ Stroud is the real deal. Absolutely amazing rookie quarterback performances each and every week, leading the Texans from behind in this game. And the thing that we need to know about this offense is I think it can support 3 wide receivers at this point. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Noah Brown and or Robert Woods, just depending on who's available, who's healthy, can definitely have some fantasy football upside each and every week. So I think Noah Brown, you got to go get him because he's had 2 really great back-to-back weeks. But this week with 24 fantasy points, 8 targets for 7 receptions, 172 yards. 172 yards for Noah Brown against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's crazy. Next week, they are going up against the Arizona Cardinals, who are 13th against wide receivers. And the thing is, Noah Brown, like we said, he's only 43% owned. I actually picked up Noah Brown in a couple spots, started him because I had no better options than Mageddon, and wow, did Noah Brown pay off. So go see if you can go add Noah Brown. I think that's definitely going to help you on your roster. We'll throw out 2 more waiver wires I should be adding. If somehow Josh Dobbs is still out there on waiver wire, absolute Konami code quarterback. I know Josh Dobbs is somewhere owned between 52 and 56%, depending on where your format is, but Josh Dobbs should be owned everywhere. So if you needed a Konami code quarterback, maybe you missed out on Kyler Murray, Josh Dobbs is the guy because Josh Dobbs is having very solid fantasy football value each and every week. So go see if Josh Dobbs is available. Devin Singletary is also someone that I would potentially be looking to target, especially considering the fact 49% owned. We've talked about Dameon Pierce. We love Dameon Pierce in the offseason. Shows up. Seems like he's just a jag. Devin Singletary we thought was just a jag, but Devin Singletary continues to have more snap share each and every week. And I know Dameon Pierce has been hurt, but we like Devin Singletary. He's getting the run. This offense seems to be efficient. So if he's getting these opportunities at the goal line, if this offense continues to put up the type of points it is, the running backs are going to be fantasy football relevant just based on the opportunity that they're getting on a week-to-week basis. My last player, and this is like if all these other guys are taken, then I would go see if Elijah Moore is also available. We've been an Elijah Moore truther on this channel. He's failed to meet expectations last season, this season, even with the Browns. All the hype that was in the the training camp videos. It's kind of sad because I was fully bought in on Elijah Moore in the 8th round. It just hasn't worked out. But he hauled in 5 passes for 44 yards and found the end zone in this game, totaling 15.4 fantasy points with no Donovan Peoples-Jones. We liked Cedric Tillman, thinking he was going to get more snap share, but Elijah Moore kind of steps up back into that wide receiver 2 spot, which we know Amari Cooper, David Njoku are the 2 main options in this passing attack. But if Elijah Moore can continue to do what he did this week, we like Elijah Moore rest of the season. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.